And welcome. Let's take a look at the top story that we are tracking for you. The row between the Indian government and social media giant Twitter is growing. Officials of the micro-blogging website appeared before a parliamentary panel on Friday. The Indian government has reiterated its stance over the issue of misuse of social media. During the meeting, the panel asked the company if it follows the law of the land, to which the representative responded saying, "We follow our own policies." Now, Twitter India officials were reminded that they should abide by the country's policy. The panel also asked Twitter why it should not be fined, as it had been found violating rules of the country. Now, later, a Twitter spokesperson said it is prepared to work with the committee on the important work of safeguarding citizens' rights online. Now, earlier this month, the centre issued a notice to Twitter to immediately comply with the new IT rules. The government also warned that failure to adhere to the norms will lead to the platform losing exemption from liability under the IT Act, but the tech giant has not complied with the rules. It is yet to appoint an India-based officer and chief compliance officer. Twitter can no longer claim legal protection in India from prosecution over the user's posts. Twitter and the centre have been at loggerheads over several issues for the last few months. The microblogging site faced backlash when it briefly removed the blue tick verification of many high-profile politicians. Accounts of Vice President Venkaiah Naidu and many senior RSS functionaries were among those. Now, earlier, the Delhi police had sent a notice to Twitter seeking an explanation of why the social media website had described tweets by government officials as manipulated media. The police had visited the Twitter India offices in Delhi and Gurgaon on the 24th of May over these issues, and our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, gets us this report.
The larger battle between the Indian government and Twitter continues with a parliamentary panel, the Standing Committee on Information Technology, grilling Twitter India representatives today during the questioning. They were asked that whether they are following the policies of the company or the law of the land, to which the Twitter India representatives pointed out that they are following the policies, but they are also trying to implement the rules, the new rules which were announced by the Indian government in February, the new IT rules under which they have to appoint redressal officers, nodal officers. These should be employees of the company and also resident of India. They are saying that they have indeed appointed interim officers, but situation remains vague, with the Indian government saying that nothing has happened when it comes to implementation of these rules. But we know that today's development is another chapter when it comes to Twitter versus the Indian government. Earlier this week, Twitter lost its intermediary status. That means that Twitter will be liable for any third-party content on its platforms, and Twitter has indeed faced FIRs as well, especially in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. How it pans out is something that everyone is waiting and watching, but this larger battle is something that is going to shape the future of social media, not only here in one of the largest economies in the world, but also impact the larger question regarding the social media giants trying to come up with their own rules and not following the government rules. Because remember, this is not the first case of any government versus Twitter. There have been several cases, whether it's Russia, whether it's other countries as well. With video journalist Neeraj Patel, Siddhant Sibal for WION in New Delhi.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.